million kwacha check from the Prophet as fulfillment of the pledge he made during the launch of the BIM's 5-year strategic plan in February this year. More in this report.
Speaking on behalf of the First Lady, BIM Trust Chairperson Dingiswayo Jele underscored the First Lady's commitment to promote public health. He said the Trust remains steadfast in its mission to prioritize sanitation and hygiene as a cornerstone of community health.
So it is really a double celebration to us, towards our work, but also to see people honoring their pledges. As we are appreciating our Prophet and Prophetess Bushiri in honoring their pledges, we would like again to just call upon the people that out of them being touched with the stories that Beautify Malawi is doing, and then they committed to pledge and give their resources, would just like to say there are still people that are calling for their support. Would you still come forward and honor the pledge, because the needy are still there crying and waiting for that commitment? So this is really a call that the hands are still open. Your pledge is still there to fill up the hole that it created when you pledged. So please honor the pledge so that we can together meet the needs of our nation. The First Lady, Her Excellency Professor Gertrude Mutharika, she always says it is a sad situation that as a country we could still be having people dying of cholera today, which is as a result of unhygienic situations. So as Beautify Malawi, we want to get up into our corner and continue to push towards a clean environment, clean sanitation, and then also improve up hygiene in most places. So this money definitely is going to contribute a lot towards sensitization, awareness, averting and mitigating the issues that are coming because of bad and unhygienic situations.
On his part, Prophet Bushiri said his family was moved to support the initiative after witnessing the tangible impact the trust has had on Malawians.
2 months ago, we participated in a dinner that was organized by Beautify Malawi. And this dinner, there were some videos that were played. And these videos were videos which were captured demonstrating what Beautify Malawi, through Her Excellency, the First Lady, Madam Gertrude Mutharika, has done and touched the lives of vulnerable people, poor people, struggling people, and so many other projects, which when we saw the enormous attributes of the projects, my wife and I, we got so much touched and felt the enthusiasm of being part and parcel of supporting what this project and Her Excellency are doing. This is why we decided to contribute the sum of 300 million Malawi kwacha to support this great project of touching so many people.
The donation fulfills a commitment to boost the Trust's efforts in creating a cleaner, healthier environment for all. The 2026 to 2030 BIM strategy was officially launched on February 27th with a strategic focus on health, sanitation and education. Maim Tumodzi, MBC, Lilongwe.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Ben Piri, says government will suspend and dismiss any traditional leader who will shield people advancing the spread of false allegations of missing male private parts. Speaking during a community sensitization meeting at Ngabu in Chikwawa, Piri said traditional leaders should be in the forefront of advocating for protection of the rights of their subjects through working hand in hand with law enforcers. Temba Mwale with a report.
During the campaign, the minister conducted sensitization meetings at Bereu, Nchalo and Miseufolo before proceeding to Ngabu, where he met council officials from the 2 districts. In his address, Piri emphasized Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's commitment in ensuring the safety of every citizen. The minister then warned chiefs against shielding any suspect, saying they will face disciplinary measures. He cited the case of village headman Moses from the area of Senior Chief Mbenje in Nsanje, who has been suspended for allegedly inciting his subjects to repel the police who wanted to arrest suspects from his village.
Particularly Chapter 22, subsection 7, stipulates the responsibilities, roles and responsibilities of the chiefs. Number 1 of which is to make sure that peace prevails in their jurisdiction. Now, where there is no peace, it means that chief has failed his responsibility. And that's number one. And there was a case here where a chief connived with the people to stone the police when they were trying to bring peace in the area. Total and totally unacceptable. And it completely violates this law as stipulated. Now, Section 11 clearly states how the president and why, under what circumstances, should the president remove a chief. That is why we have said for now, let him stand aside until investigations clears him otherwise. If not, this will be a warning to other chiefs that shields criminals that resides within their areas. And we're saying, chiefs, take up your full responsibility and make sure your areas have got peace.
In his remarks, Deputy Inspector General of Police responsible for operations, No Kaira, said anyone who claimed that his genitals have gone missing will equally be arrested and charged accordingly. Meanwhile, Senior Chief Ngabu has equally disputed claims of missing male genitals in his area.
About 7 people have lost life in that mob justice. We have lost 2 people in Sanje, and in Chikwawa we lost 5 people. We strongly condemn such type of behavior because every citizen has the right to life and there's nobody who is above the law. And this is a warning to any citizen that people should not take laws in their hands. Whoever perpetrates such type of behavior from today, definitely they are going to be arrested and be brought to justice through the courts.
83 people have so far been arrested and 60 are on remand in connection with mob justice arising from claims of missing genitals, but this far there is no evidence validating such claims. 7 people have been killed in acts of mob justice this far in Nsanje and Chikwawa district.
Meanwhile, the Interfaith Forum for Peace, Justice and Dialogue has commended President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and all state agencies for swiftly responding to life and peace-threatening occurrences in the lower Shire districts of Chikwawa and Nsanje. Secretary General for the organization, Bishop Dr. Damson Mchenga, made the remarks following revelations that over 80 people have been arrested in relation to the brutal murder of 7 people on alleged theft of men's private parts for ritual purposes in the 2 districts. According to Bishop Mchenga, the swift arrests and remanding of the suspects have demonstrated government's unmatched will to deter further escalation of these unwelcome acts. Charles Pensulo speaks to Bishop Mchenga.
The Interfaith Forum for Peace, Justice and Dialogue is emphasizing to thank the leadership, to say they have done a great work because just by swiftly moving to control the situation, they have brought about peace and tranquility in the lower Shire. But at the same time, by arresting those who are suspected to have perpetrated these things, at least some people are deterred from carrying out those actions. We want to thank His Excellency and the law enforcement agencies over that. Yes, we are saying Malawians should desist from fabricating false information, fabricating news that has got no basis. And we should coexist with one another at the same time. If there is suspicion of anything, let them report to police other than engaging in mob justice. That is not acceptable before the law and in all quarters.
Government says the Digital Malawi Acceleration Project, DMAP, is transforming the country into a digitally enabled nation with expanded high-speed internet access, bridging the digital divide for rural communities and digitizing public services. Minister of Information and Communications Technology, Shadrack Namalumba, said this at the end of a working tour of the implementation progress of the Digital Malawi Acceleration Project, DMAP, in Blantyre. Chisomo Break with a report.
The $150 million World Bank financing facility supports the country's digital transformation agenda by, among others, expanding digital connectivity, which aims to connect over 2,000 schools, 500 public institutions, and improve rural access to broadband. Speaking after visiting some free Wi-Fi connected offices in public places, including the Blantyre Market and Blantyre National Library, Minister Namalomba said it was encouraging that the project is bearing fruit.
Very ambitious and very determined, and that's why we want to make sure that such projects like the DIMA project is bearing fruits, and we're sure that it is bearing fruit. That's why I'm here. What my task is here is to monitor what is happening on the ground. We should not have projects on paper. We want to make sure that indeed the project is bearing fruits. And during this visit, I've had the opportunity of interacting with the users themselves, and they have been sharing their experiences. So this is the kind of direction that the government of His Excellency Professor would want to have. One, an inclusive economy, but also a digitally connected economy. Because that's where we are going, 2063, and we cannot have 2063 without starting with the present.
In Blantyre Market, buyers and sellers can connect to free Wi-Fi, and such is the case with the Blantyre National Library. According to one of the chairpersons for the market, Steve Majawa, from Chemusa Township in the city, it is a business booster as more customers continue to patronize the market. Another beneficiary of the Digital Malawi Acceleration Project is a Blantyre-based youth-led software company, Redback Stark. The company's programs manager, Cuthbert Magawa, described the project as a game changer, noting that so far, the company enjoys committed clientele.
This project has helped us so much. For instance, the time we were starting, we were established in 2022, but our operation started in 2023 because of this project. So all operations started in this project. So all achievements that we have made in these 3 years have been as a reflection of what the project has done for us. We started as digital skills training providers under the project, but we have gone ahead to developing systems for different clients, be it ICAM, ZUA, even MEC. So we're working with the private sector as well as the government sector.
The Digital Malawi project started in 2019. It comprises 4 components: the affordable broadband and secure data hosting, high-impact digital services and productive digital usage, secure digital government platforms, as well as project management and institutional strengthening. The Public-Private Partnership Commission, PPC, is the implementing agency. Chisomo Break, MBC News, Blantyre.
Remember, you're watching MBC News. A reminder of our top stories this afternoon. First Lady, Madam Professor Gertrude Mutharika, receives a 300 million kwacha financial commitment from Prophet Shepherd Bushiri of the ECG Church to support the Beautify Malawi Beam Trust. Government warns that it will penalize any traditional leader who shields individuals spreading false allegations regarding missing male private parts. And people from all walks of life are today celebrating the legacy of Malawi's founding president, Dr. Hastings Kamuzubanda. Welcome back. On 14th May each year, Malawians commemorate the country's former and first President Dr. Hastings Kamuzubanda. This year's commemoration ceremony is currently underway at his resting place, the Kamuzu Mausoleum in Lilongwe, where the Minister of Youth and Sports, Alfred Gangata, is leading Malawians in their commemoration. Patrick Dambula is on the line.
Hundreds of people from walks of life have gathered here at the Kamuzu Mausoleum at the heart of Lilongwe, that city center, to honor the former president, the late Dr. Hastings Kamuzubanda. So far, what has happened is that several people have laid their roots at the tomb of the former president. Leading in paying homage was Honorable Alfred Gangata, who is Minister of Youth and Sports, and is also representing the president, Professor Arthur Mutharika. Other notable people are Kumbize Kandodo Chiponda from the Kamuzu family. We also saw former official hostess Mama Sita Mandakatamira laying her wreath, and Chief Executive Officer of Lilongwe City Council, Clement Istambuli, as well as the mayor, also they took their part. Among other people were also representatives of the Inspector General of Police, as well as representative of the Army Commander. They have also laid their wreaths, and several other people. As of now, a service of worship is underway, and it is being led by the clergy from different denominations, different religions have come together to honor the former President Kamuzu Banda. The day is being commemorated under the theme Kamuzu, the benchmark of servant leadership, uniting Malawians and prospering together. Patrick Dambula, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Political analysts and academicians have urged Malawi to adopt evidence-driven, community-centered development strategies as foreign aid sharply declines. The call follows growing concerns over shrinking donor support.
Sometimes we focus on Vision 2063 or Vision 2019. Some of us are not going to be alive then. And it's very difficult to hold policymakers to account in 2063. We should be talking about maybe short-term goals, medium-term goals, and really thinking about who is deciding on these priorities, have a national conversation. How can one wean oneself out of this dependence on foreign aid? So something about, Malawian agency, Malawian perspectives, Malawian solutions to Malawian problems. That is what we are trying to.
We are talking about the future of aid in Malawi and its implications, and that one of the topics that is on the table is how do we win ourselves the alternatives so that we should be surviving as a country without being dependent on aid.
Government has instituted a forensic audit on expenditure relating to a number of irrigation projects under Greenbelt Authority. Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Water Development, Rosa Mbilizi, disclosed this in an interview with NBC. George Mkandawire reports.
Major Greenbelt Authority projects linked to the ongoing forensic audit and corruption investigations include Salima Sugar Company Limited, Ndola Irola Rice Irrigation Scheme, among others. According to the Anti-Corruption Bureau ACB investigations, about 36.7 billion kwacha meant for construction and habilitation of these projects was allegedly paid through dubious contracts, fake work certificates, and suspicious advance payments. The investigations by the Anti-Corruption Bureau resulted to arrests of several senior Greenbelt Authority officials and contractors. Recently, Minister of Agriculture Rosa Mbilizi said that government has spent over 20 billion kwacha in Ndola Irola irrigation scheme in Karonga district, but the projects are underrunning. She said the previous government used these projects as a means of siphoning public money.
Since 2019, up to here, up to this time, this factory has not been working. So you can imagine what is going on here. And this is a project under Greenbelt Authority, as I said, and just like all the other projects under Greenbelt Authority, it was merely used as a conduit for siphoning government money by the previous government, because a lot of money has been paid under this project, but there is not much progress. You can see the war was already paid for, but the war is not completed, not even half of it. We had a solar system that was already paid for, but there is no solar system here. You ask questions, you have no answers. So this is a project that is under very big scrutiny by this government.
Meanwhile, Greenbelt Authority Chief Executive Officer Andrew Mluwira said a lot needs to be done if the organization is to attain its plans.
Indeed, we had those issues where there is a mismatch between the physical progress of the projects and the financial projects. And in some cases, a contractor was paid 80%, and the physical progress on the ground is around 20%. So these are the things that we are trying to rectify as we move forward.
The Ndola Irola Rice irrigation scheme, once completed, is expected to cover at least 1,000 hectares of irrigation land, with a processing plant projected to process 50 metric tons of rice annually. George Nkandawire, MBC, Karonga.
Farming households along the Nakala corridor in Machinga have expressed fulfillment to benefit from the Southern Africa Trade Connectivity SATCP project, which is encouraging them to venture into subsistence farming. This was revealed during an agriculture field day organized by Machinga District Council in Nhia village under Traditional Authority Nsanama. Devima reports.
Gladys Fabiano of Nhia village in the area of Traditional Authority Nsanama in Machinga is among beneficiaries of the Southern Africa Trade Connectivity and Support Investment Program, SAT-CP, a project financed by the World Bank and implemented by the Machinga District Council. Highlighting her experience during the Agriculture Field Day, she said the pilot phase has helped her experience high potential of a bumper harvest. She says she cultivated sweet potato varieties, both local and hybrid, to determine which performs best under the area's climate conditions, and the results are satisfying. In his remarks, Agriculture Officer for Machinga District Council, Mikao Chimatiro, said it is expected that people will grow drought-resistant crops, but with bumper yields.
Our farmers are already growing crops like pigeon peas, cassava, sweet potato, rice, but what is lacking is reaching out for quality and quantity. So the project is going to assist in terms of strengthening these value chains.
According to an extension worker who is also responsible for trade at the council, Mariam Abudu, the SAT-CP project aims to enhance agricultural productivity and boost local livelihoods through improved crop diversification, thereby improving economic status.
In terms of markets, the markets are already available. We have markets in Malawi, we have markets in Zambia, we have markets in Mozambique. So with the linkage of the Nakala corridor, I think these farmers do not have a challenge of transport because their transport is cheaper.
The SAT-CP project started in 2021 and will run until June 2027. Apart from improving farmers' livelihoods conditions, the project also aims to improve transport infrastructure, trade facilitation and value chain development along the Nakara corridor, stretching Machinga to Nayuchi. Dave Umar, MBC News, Machinga.
Finally, in international news, France-Africa Summit has concluded in Nairobi, Kenya, with a call to reframe relations between African countries and France, prioritizing sovereign equality over traditional donor-recipient model. Speaking to delegates, Kenyan President stressed that the future relationship between France and Africa must be based on respect for sovereignty and shared economic goals. Tosin Magombo has compiled this report.
The summit, co-hosted by Kenya and France, marks a deliberate shift in how Paris wants to engage with the continent.
The summit brings together leaders, business people, investors, and innovators to advance practical cooperation in areas such as infrastructure, innovation, green growth, and development financing.
Kenyan President William Ruto echoed the call for change as he urged African countries to move away from dependency towards partnerships built on equality and win-win cooperation.
Africa can generate substantial development resources internally when institutions are strong, policies are credible and predictable, markets are trusted, and citizens themselves become active participants in nation building. Excellencies, infrastructure development remains one of the most decisive foundations of Africa's economic transformation and continental integration. Africa's infrastructure financing gap continues to constrain productivity, continues to increase the cost of trade, weaken industrial competitiveness, and fragment markets across our continent.
On the other hand, France President Emmanuel Macron announced 23 billion euros in new investment commitments for African countries in different sectors including energy, agriculture, and artificial intelligence. Additionally, the declaration was signed at the close of the summit to outline a framework for future cooperation with African leaders pushing for fair risk pricing and greater access to global finance. France signaled its intent to deepen ties with Anglophone and East African nations. The summit was held under the theme Africa Forward. Tosin Magombo, MBC News.
Well, that item also concludes this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. First Lady, Madame Professor Gertrude Mutharika, receives a 300 million kwacha financial commitment from Prophet Shepherd Bushiri of the ECG Church to support the Beautify Malawi Beam Trust. Government warns that it will penalize any traditional leader who shields individuals spreading false allegations regarding missing male private parts. And people from all walks of life are today celebrating the legacy of Malawi's founding president, Dr. Hastings Kamuzubanda. For live news updates, visit our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You were with me, Hilda Ngomano. From all of us here, thanks for watching and good afternoon.